Right. 11 February 2026. And today I'm excited to be giving you the morning update on one of the most important days in Zimbabwe. And what is exciting is that Mnangagwa still has 90 days in which to try and change the constitution. And as I've said in the past, Mnangagwa is going to fail in his attempts to change the constitution. The process of changing the constitution of Zimbabwe is very difficult. However, Mnangagwa started the process, and what happened yesterday is that the cabinet has approved a number of changes. So these changes will result in the extension of the term of a president in Zimbabwe to 7 years. So currently, a Zimbabwean president must serve 2 terms of 5 years. However, Mnangagwa has introduced changes in the parliament of Zimbabwe, so that is going to parliament in 90 days. At the moment, the Speaker of Parliament is going to need to gazette those changes. And those changes relate to term limits, that is 5 years to 7 years. Then the president of Zimbabwe will no longer be voted for by the people. The president of Zimbabwe will now be voted for by Parliament and Senate. So there will be a joint sitting at which the president of Zimbabwe will be voted for. Senate will be expanded by 10 additional senators. The Delimitation Commission will now be taken away from the Zimbabwe Electoral Commission. So the task of setting up delimitation of boundaries of constituencies will now be taken over by a new commission that is going to be set up. Then the Attorney General, there will be a new requirement for the Attorney General, and then the voters' roll will now be managed by the Registrar General's Department. However, all this is a constitutional change, and there are very strict requirements. And I'll now show you what Ziambi said yesterday. This is not going to be easy for Mnangagwa, so do not worry as yet. We've got a lot of days, and Mnangagwa is not going to succeed. So look at what Ziambi said yesterday.
All our bills, basically, we send them to the Speaker, who will then take it for gazetting. If it's an ordinary bill, it's 21 days gazetting before you do the first reading in Parliament. But for a constitutional bill, the Constitution says once you gazette it, you wait for 90 days before you introduce it in Parliament. So what will happen is, once the Speaker has sent it for gazetting and it's in the public domain, that period will now use it to have our debates, to call upon anyone you want to interview about their views. Parliament will call for public consultations, and once all that is done, the relevant parliamentary committees will now compile their reports. And then when we introduce the bill in Parliament, because this is a constitutional bill, it doesn't need referral to the Parliamentary Legal Committee. So once we introduce it, we then start the second reading stage, where we then introduce the bill formally in Parliament, and debate will commence in Parliament. Once the second reading is done, we then go into committee, and that process, it depends on the parliamentary calendar.
Okay, so this man, Mnangagwa, is putting himself through so much for nothing. He's not going to succeed. So many days, so much stress. There is going to be a lot that is going to take place within the next 90 days. And it goes on and on. Mnangagwa also has to step down as president. So for this whole thing to happen, Mnangagwa must step down as president before the 4th of September. So I do not know why he's putting himself through this, but I can assure you, come 4 September, we're not going to have any Mnangagwa term extension. It's not going to happen. Mnangagwa is just embarrassing himself in public. It's so sad to see Mnangagwa embarrassing himself and making himself a man that, in the history of our country, the only president that has tried to violate the constitution. Why it is a violation is because a president of Zimbabwe cannot benefit from constitutional changes that need or that require a term change limit. So it is illegal for a president of Zimbabwe who is currently serving to make changes to the constitution and then to benefit from those changes. And currently there is a court case And I want to show you what has happened. There are two court cases, one by Ibechu and one by myself and more precision Muzadzi. And let me give you more precision. Let more precision explain what has happened. Mnangagwa is not going to succeed. He's still going to fail on many different directions. So let's see what more precision said here yesterday.
Brother Mr. Gambakwe, I just came out of the Constitutional Court a few moments ago. The Court has reserved the judgment in our case. So we wait to hear from the Constitutional Court. Obviously, it has merit, so we wait to hear from the Constitutional Court judges what they will say. But we are happy and we are confident that I will be granted direct access. Thank you and good afternoon.
Right. So let me tell you what has happened. So what has happened is that Ibechu and the guys from Bulawayo, they went in with Zanu PF and they had agreed that this case was going to go to the High Court. So they, by consent, they had agreed that the court case was going to be removed from the Constitutional Court back to the High Court. However, after Mzadzi's arguments, they have failed. So we now have a Constitutional Court case which is still going to be heard, which is still going to be judged. And the argument is simple. Mnangagwa and Ziambi and the Speaker of Parliament and ZEC cannot make these changes that they want to make. And as I said, Mnangagwa is going to fail. No one likes this. And particularly, there is still a referendum that needs to be held. There are many challenges that are still going to come. You cannot have these kind of changes without going to referendum. It's going to fail. It's just a poor attempt by Mnangagwa. And as I said, he's embarrassing himself. And we still have parliament. So there are many, many processes to be had within the next 3 months and then all the way up to September. I don't even know why Mnangagwa is doing this, but it's showing that he is not a good president. Mnangagwa being president of our country was a bad mistake. So this man has embarrassed our country. Mnangagwa is a wolf in sheep's skin. Also, the killing of Sarwaka was to avoid some of this being challenged on the street. We still have the street. So people need to challenge Mnangagwa. If this goes through, this will be the worst constitution ever in our region. If you look at South Africa, it is a different situation. The reason why South Africa has a president that is elected in parliament is because they are provincial governments. Inside of Zimbabwe, there is no need for that. The constitution is totally fine the way it is. There is no justification for the changes that they're making. If you ask Mnangagwa, why do you want to go for 7 years? It's because he built a free bridges and he's saying he developed the country. Is that a reason for someone to go for 7 years? So it's pathetic. And Mnangagwa are one of the worst people I've ever seen. And also a killer. They've killed young men, Sarwaka, just to make sure that they go to a third term. So this whole bunch, Ziambi, Mnangagwa, and the Speaker of Parliament, part of a cabal. And they've called a meeting, so they'll be starting to hold a meeting, a strategy meeting this week. They are trying as much as possible, but they will fail. So as I said, Mnangagwa is going to fail. It's not going to succeed. And we still have the army. So there are so many things that can happen. And I do not know why Mnangagwa is putting himself at so much risk. This is so risky, such a big risky move for Mnangagwa. And I understand why Chiwenga is just sitting back. It's okay. There's no time, no reason to challenge this inside cabinet. There are so many people in there. But watch very closely. We have a lot that is coming. And these next 90 days are going to be one of the biggest dramas you've ever seen in Zimbabwe. So Mnangagwa is going to do nothing. In 90 days, just wait and watch. Nothing's going to happen. This thing gets gazetted, and then there's nothing. There is nothing to do until at least around May. So that is March, April, May. So by at least 10 May, that is when there will be movement. But at the moment, there will be nothing. It is just a waste of time for Mnangagwa. And I don't like him at all. So I don't know who likes Mnangagwa at this moment. This man, his term has been one of the worst terms that we've ever seen. And he's held us back so much as a country. Mnangagwa has become a very big problem with his group. So let's see what happens. But there is a lot that is set to happen. And I don't think you disagree with me. A third term is one of the worst things. Mnangagwa is going for a third term now. After coming into office through a coup. All right, let's quickly go through the news. One of the biggest stories today is the arrest of businessman Patterson Timber. So Patterson Timber is being arrested after he was reported by the son of Mnangagwa's advisor. So Martin Rushwaya is this presidential secretary or secretary in Mnangagwa's office. And the Rushwaya family, they are responsible for the arrest of Patterson Timber. Patterson Timber is being arrested on trumped-up charges, or he's being accused of fake rape charges. So these rape charges stem from one of the security guards at Toros mine, which reportedly happened in October 2023. The Rushwaya family is very powerful, and it consists of the cousins of Mnangagwa. So there are 4 people who are involved. So that is Jameson and Annie Rushwaya, Henrietta Rushwaya, Martin Rushwaya, Elliot Rushwaya. So these people owned a mine in Kadoma. And this mine was then sold to Patterson Timber. Patterson Timber then sold the mine to the son of Grace Mugabe, Gorereza. So Gorereza bought the mine from Patterson Timber. And then the Rushwaya family went and changed back the ownership of the mine back to themselves. And that is where this whole thing has started. It's been going on since 2010. And Jameson Timber claims that he has lost 5 million after the transfer of the shares. And this story is ongoing. I do not know why they keep him in jail. He's currently in jail right now after appearing in court yesterday. And that was in Harare. He's set to appear in court again in Kadoma. Probably tomorrow, he'll be appearing in Kadoma on these fake rape charges, which come from 2023. The reported rape or rape victim did not report the crime until after 2 years. And I do not know what these guys are talking about, but it's clear that Zanu PF is taking over people's minds and people's properties. So you remember that we have got a story that has happened with the Duration Gold. They've also taken over the mine. They've put the guy there in jail. They've also taken over one of the little game parks. And now we've got this case where they've got Jameson Timber inside of jail. So is it Jameson? Yes, Jameson is in, sorry, Patterson. Patterson is in jail. Right now, he's not going to come out over a case where the court has given what is called a coexistence order. So a few months ago, the court ordered that both parties must be at the mine together. But because of the abuse of the court process, Patterson Timber is sitting in jail right now as we speak. So it's a continuation. And you see that as Mnangagwa continues with his 3rd term, if he succeeds in getting to the 3rd term, you're going to see so much abuse of human rights and abuse of people in Zimbabwe, especially business people. Then Madam Boss, who is very popular, probably the most followed person in Zimbabwe, has arrived in India, where she's going to be undergoing an operation on her brain. So she currently has a swelling on her brain, and she's announced that she's going to be having an operation on the brain. So that brain operation is going to take place, or has taken place last night. So we're going to see what happened. And these are quite delicate and dangerous operations. So let's see what happens. Then in terms of trending news, Nyaradzo Liwayo Moyo, one of the owners of a business in Harare that deals with health foods, is trending after she was accused by employees of not paying salaries. So some of the employees has not been paid for up to 7 months. They've taken her to the labor court, but she's using a Zanu PF connections so that she does not appear in court. And she also owes staff tips and back pay. So 7 months without paying salaries, and the company is called Yanaya Lifestyle, a very evil person who makes people work and doesn't pay salaries. That is crazy. And then in terms of South Africa business, we have one of the biggest stories today, Tsepo Mohlele here has bought one of the biggest airlines in South Africa. So FlySafair is the biggest airline in South Africa with 30 aircraft, and it has got 67% of the business. Tsepo Mohlele from Harith General Partners, a private equity firm, has acquired the equity of FlySafair. So the new company, FlySafair, that flies across almost all this region, that is going to be owned by this company. And we expect to see this deal concluded by the fourth quarter of 2026. So by December, the biggest airline in South Africa is going to be owned by this consortium. It's a consortium. And that comes after he attempted to buy South Africa Airways, and that did not go through. So one of the biggest deals, and subject to regulatory approvals. So you're going to see that taking place at least by the end of December. Then in one of the biggest appointments ever, Sitoyo Lopo Koiti, who was the head of M-Pesa in Kenya, has now been appointed as the head of ABSA Personal and Private Banking. So he was the managing director and has been moved to his role in South Africa. He's the first foreigner to hold that position. And the reason why they're employing him is that they want to enter the Kenyan market. So South African banks are buying Kenyan businesses, banking and financial institutions, after Kenya introduced new rules. So there are new rules in Kenya for banking, and that is capital requirements and also transactional requirements. So South African banks, FNB, ABSA, Nedbank, they are going into Kenya where they're buying all these Kenyan businesses. And this appointment is one of the biggest appointments because this guy is one of the best guys. He knows the Eastern Africa market like no one else. But the fact that he's a foreigner can probably bring some controversy in South Africa. However, this has been approved already. So that is Sitoyo Lopo Koiti. I hope I'm getting this name right. What a great appointment, and M-Pesa, one of the best businesses. I hope that they managed to bring that kind of model into South Africa. Then the biggest cybersecurity breaches in Zimbabwe. So if you go to H Metro, there is a group of young men from Chitungwiza who managed to compromise the Ecocash system. They have appeared in court yesterday. So if you go to H Metro, you'll see that these young people managed to create a fake website and trick people into giving their pins. So using a weakness in the Ecocash system, they were able to then compromise the wallets or Ecocash wallets and steal thousands. So far, only about $20,000 has been recovered. And in cash, only $600 was recovered. So this was done from Chitungwiza in the same street and using the same weakness which is in the Ecocash system. Then in terms of Cyclone Gazani, so Mnangagwa, Cyclone Gazani is currently going on. Today it's expected to land, so be very careful around Zimbabwe, especially at Chipinge and Chiredzi. We expect violent and heavy rains to take place at Chipinge and Chiredzi and also in Harare. This is going to be very dangerous, so be very careful over there in Harare and in Chiredzi. Then regarding the burials, yesterday I've given the banking details of Mnangagwa over here. So Mnangagwa's body is currently stuck in South Africa. The family needs assistance with the repatriation of the body. And I've put the banking details of Mnangagwa over here. I've also given the banking details of Sarwaka. The postmortem of Sarwaka was done yesterday. And we await to hear regarding the investigation, as the people who killed Sarwaka were seen. So it is clear that the police are on their tail, and I'm reliably informed that it's just a matter of time before an arrest is made. So this young man was killed to stop what is going to happen. right now, which is a strong resistance to ED 2030. Mnangagwa's government and Zimbabwe CIO are killers. They've killed the young man, Sarwaka. And this is so said, we are living in one of the most repressive regimes that you've ever seen. Mnangagwa needs to be opposed, and violently so. So you cannot leave Mnangagwa to do what he's doing right now. Otherwise, the things that are going to happen after Mnangagwa gets a third term is that he's going to go for a further term. He's going to continuously extend his term. And that is the reason why there must be strong opposition to Mnangagwa. Yesterday, Nyoka Bunu has appeared in court. So there are 2 court cases that were before the judges. And what has happened is that one of the cases has been referred back to the minister to make a decision. That is to do with the papers and the extradition. So Nyoka Bunu, the minister, now taken back the case. That is no longer in court. As I explained yesterday, the withdrawal of that extradition case is very close. And then on the 12th, which is tomorrow, Nyoka Bunu will be back on the immigration court case in court once again. All this is related to opposition to ED 2030. There is massive resistance to Mnangagwa's plan. Mnangagwa is not an outstanding or exceptional president. There's no reason, and there's no appetite for Mnangagwa to go to 2030. So people are openly opposing Mnangagwa, and he wants to become the president for life. So be very careful with Mnangagwa. This must not be allowed. So no matter what happens, Mnangagwa must not be allowed. People are getting multiple death threats in South Africa, including myself. We get death threats every day over this case. So they are sending us up WhatsApps, telling us that we're next, we're going to be killed. And you must never be afraid. Myself, don't think I've got a moment of doubt or of fear about what I'm talking about. And you don't receive the death threat. I receive them every day. I'm told that the next time you walk out, you'll be dead. But I have no fear. You must not have fear. These people that have been killed, like Sarwaka, did not want to die. Don't think Sarwaka was willing to die or wanting to die. So whatever happens, it's a generational duty to resist Mnangagwa and his plans. So Mnangagwa is now a danger to our country. And you must know this. If you leave this man to continue on this path, our country will be totally destroyed. So Mnangagwa must be resisted as much as possible. And there's no doubt about it. Resist this thing and don't even doubt. If people die, they must die. But Mnangagwa must not become a third-term president. That is pathetic. And Mdarageza, the thing that he was talking about all the time, why he was out of the country, is basically because of this issue. This man must not be allowed to go for a third term, to tamper with our constitution, and to make the changes that he wants to make. All these changes are undemocratic. He's not even allowed to make those changes, but he's trying to make them. So he must be resisted at whatever cost. So that what the cost must not be a problem. So as you can see, some of us are resigned to whatever can happen. Are you going to be able to resist this man if he manages to go to a third term? Do you know what kind of powers he's now going to have when he can make such changes and violate the constitution by benefiting from the same change, which the constitution was specifically written to avoid? So the constitution of Zimbabwe was written to avoid a sitting president from changing the constitution so that he can stay in power. There was a referendum. There was a total vote for this constitution that limits the term of a president to 2 5-year terms. There is no appetite in Zimbabwe for a president that goes on and on. And these guys are criminals. So Mnangagwa is a criminal, and Ziambi is a criminal, Mudenda is a criminal. These people want to change the constitution, and they've killed a young man. Young Sarwaka was killed for this very reason. So they must be resisted, and we need to continue with the resistance of Mnangagwa, a very dangerous person, Mnangagwa. And then let's go to the newspapers. We're going to quickly look at the Herald newspaper of today and see what is over there. And as I said, no one is going to benefit from this. It's very bad. Okay, constitutional revolution. New bill proposes a 7-year presidential term. This is the news in the Herald. This is not game changing. It's a step back in our country. And then Mnangagwa is going to be chairing the Zanu PF Politburo seminar. Sorry, he chaired this already, but there's a strategy seminar which is set for today. So let me see where is the actual date here. All right, I'll give it to you on Gambakwe. And then there was an amnesty yesterday. So an amnesty of prisoners has been announced yesterday. And under this amnesty, all female prisoners will be released. So all Zimbabwe female prisoners will be released. All juveniles will be released. A prisoner serving 48 months or less, that is 2 years or less, will be released. Any inmate who is sick or terminally ill will be released. All prisoners at open prisons will be released. All prisoners aged 60 and above will be released. Prisoners sentenced to life imprisonment who have served more than 20 years will be released. All prisoners with disabilities will be released. And then any prisoner will have 2 years removed from their sentence. So basically, we are talking here of a mass release of prisoners. Approximately, I can say over 50% of the Zimbabwe population, prison population, will be released, including there will be no female in jail in Zimbabwe. So if you want to understand the impact of this, it's very big and it will be very difficult to manage, especially outside. I expect that at least 10% of these people will be back in jail. But this is actually a good thing because this is for convicted offenders. Currently, there's overpopulation in the prisons. And we expect that at least this will free up the prisons of Zimbabwe. So I think we've covered most of the Herald newspapers. Let me see if there's anything else of interest here that I want to cover. If there is nothing, we'll then move on to a different newspaper. So particularly in terms of soccer, the soccer season of Zimbabwe is going to start on 1 May. So that is within the next 2 or so months, the soccer season of Zimbabwe is going to start. And the first match is going to be is going to be Dynamos against Scotland. So Dynamos against Scotland will be the first match on 1 May. So look forward to that, as those are the biggest teams right now in Zimbabwe. Let's look at the Chronicle Zimbabwe. What is in the Chronicle Zimbabwe? So in the Chronicle Zimbabwe, you got the same Mnangagwa at the front of these newspapers almost on a daily basis. And they're leading with the same Zimbabwe unveils theme for Zim 46 Uru celebration. And then let's see if there's anything else here. Zanu PF does not run illegal rings or legal or illegal. This comes after the councillors of Bulawayo have complained that they are being given death threats when they try to clean up the ranks in Bulawayo. And then we've got this big story here. High Court dismisses environmental activists' application in Vic Forest development dispute. The High Court has struck off the roll an application by Victoria Falls environmental activist Mr. Lawrence Benjamin Norton, who is facing a 2.2 million defamation lawsuit from Scanner Investments. So these guys are running a restaurant inside the Victoria Falls, and Norton was asking them to be kicked out of the World Heritage Site, but they've definitely won that case against him. And then let's see if there's anything else here. We've got 5 people in Cholocho. Let's see what has happened. 5 Cholocho councillors suspended over campfire funds abuse. So these are councillors, CCC councillors have been suspended. So guys, what's happening here is crazy. And this is, although they're supporting ZANU, the CCC councillors are still being thrown out of their offices, which is crazy. I can't believe what Mnangagwa is doing. Let's go to Facebook, and we're going to quickly look at our people. So let's look at Hopo. What is Hopo saying today? Hopo is one of the people that posts a lot. So let's see what he's saying today. He's covering the campaign. Campaigning has begun, and then the cabinet changes. So as I said, this is going to happen in 90 days. And then what else? Paul O'Sullivan. And so go and check out everything that has been covered by Hopo. And then President Maboko says Botswana Prison Service Senior Officials Conference. So they are talking about the prison services. Look at that. Look at the people of Botswana. I hope that they also do an amnesty in Botswana because the prisons in Botswana are also overpopulated. And then President Hakainde Hichilema, what has happened in Zambia. And this is very important. So let me put up the picture here so that you guys can see what I am talking about. So there has been a long-running dispute in Zambia. And this long-running dispute relates to the family of Lungu. So Lungu, who is or was the former president of Zambia, there is a constitutional court appeal or the court of appeal in South Africa. So yesterday, the Lungu family has finally gone to court. They had not gone to court to appeal. So they are now at the Supreme Court of Appeal, where they're appealing a judgment by a court in Pretoria that Lungu's body must be taken to Zambia for burial. So the Zambian government is saying that they need to take the body to Zambia for burial as is the president, but the Lungu family, through the wife, is saying that the body must stay in South Africa and be buried in South Africa. On 9 February, there was a major development in Zambia where a Zambian court ordered the forfeiture of 79 vehicles and 23 properties, which were gifted to Dalitso Lungu. So Dalitso Lungu was given all these properties, and the government of Zambia has forfeited them. There are many, many properties that were with the Lungu family that are still going to be forfeited. Lungu died in South Africa on 5 June 2025. So his body remains unburied 7 months after he died. And on December 23, the Supreme Court of Appeal in Bloemfontein granted the family leave to appeal. So let's see what happens and if they're going to succeed with this process. I personally think that we have passed the stage of reasonableness, and this is becoming a circus, a very bad circus, which is not funny at all. So I don't know why someone would let their father lie in a morgue for 7 months without being buried. That is crazy. Then let's go to X. Let's see what Chamisa has said. So Chamisa is going to play an important role in what is happening. I hope they don't kill him because they're just killing anyone that we can find. So let's see what Chamisa is saying. Guys, this is very dangerous, what is happening in Zimbabwe. We are now at a very critical moment. Mnangagwa is doing anything to stay in power. And it's not even okay. This is bad. So let's look at Chamisa. Let's see if Nelson Chamisa has said anything. So Nelson Chamisa, opposition leader of Zimbabwe, let's see what he said. So he's not said anything. Leader is a thermostat. And he says, if you've got a plan, you must do the plan. Then let's look at General Sanyatwe. General Sanyatwe last posted on 9 February, I am allergic to corruption. That is what he said. He is allergic to corruption. That is crazy. And then let's go to Opam Chinguri. Let's see Opam Chinguri what she said over here. Nothing today. So I think we've covered everything that I wanted to cover. We are at a critical moment. The next 90 days, stay alive because Mnangagwa is out. His team is out. They want to assassinate people. And as I said, they are sending multiple death threats. There is no one in South Africa right now who is not receiving death threats. These guys are sending death threats to people's WhatsApp messages, including myself. I get 4 or 5 death threats a day. If you get out of your house, we're going to kill you. That is what they say. But we must not be afraid. And anyway, who is going to live forever. So if anything happens to us, you must know that it's Mnangagwa is the one. So Mnangagwa and his people, they are a dangerous group. They don't deserve to be in office. It was a mistake to put Mnangagwa in office. ED is releasing all these criminals under amnesty, knowing very well that the people who suffer for the murder, robberies, and crimes are the ordinary citizens. You are a controversial journalist. There is sharp opposition about Chamisa. What is the reason for your media? Shumba should retire and go enjoy himself. You say you received death threat, but you never attacked yet. The people meet like Sarawak are immediately killed. Who are you, Gambakwe? So let me explain to you guys how much in danger I am when I'm traveling with someone like Sarawaka in my car. If Zanu PF comes to attack, who do you think will be killed? So it was just lucky that they did not kill us that day when I was traveling with him. Do you think they started following Sarawaka on the day they kill him? So the problem with the Zimbabweans is they are very slow in thinking. So when we told people, fight this man when he was going to become Sadatiche and was arresting everyone, you just let him there. When Darageza came out, fight this man, he's going to be a danger to our country. You keep quiet. When we went to court, we went to every organization and every lawyer, including Zimbabwe Lawyers for Human Rights. Help us to draft proper papers. No assistance. They listen to strange theories. So you hear someone saying, how come you, Gambakwe, are not killed? So you want me to be killed so that you can agree that what Mnangagwa is doing is evil. You are so afraid and cowardly. Cowardice is like death. When you are a coward, you're dead. You're dead 100 times. I do not have cowardice in me. Like, I move every day the way I move. I will never change anything. If Mnangagwa kills me, I die. That's all. I will never change what I do for Mnangagwa. You think killing someone is going to change anything? He's still failing in the country. No matter even if he kills Sarawaka, Gambakwe, Chimama, he kills everyone. There will never be a day when Mnangagwa's government is going to be said it has succeeded. The only thing they've succeeded in do is to break down our country. So don't be such a pathetic coward. So cowardice is pathetic. A man that is a coward is the worst man ever. I do not know why someone is a coward. So sex you're a coward, you got a fake name. You don't come out in your face. I show my face every day. If you see someone criticizing me and lying, they never show their face. And you never know their name, like their real name. Who is the real name of Mbiri? Who is the real name of DJ Holly? What is their real names? They're agents. So cowardice is what is driving our country to where it is right now. Mnangagwa is feasting on the cowardice of Zimbabweans because the Zimbabweans are cowards. If someone comes out and say, resist a third term, every day, Mdarageza was resist a third term, resist a third term. Sarawaka, resist a third term, resist a third term. Nyoka, resist a third term, resist a third term. What do Zimbabweans do? Nyoka is like this. Sarawaka is like this. When Sarawaka went to Zimbabwe to distribute flyers for the protest, did you join? Or you just said, I'll just go my way? If there is one day of protest in Zimbabwe, a concerted and emphatic protest, and say, Mnangagwa, we don't want a third term. We're not going to work until you stop this third term. It will stop. These guys are criminals. They've got no spine. That is why Mnangagwa will never come out of the front. He's going to send other people to talk about third term. You will never hear Mnangagwa says he wants to go over third term, but he loves it. This guy is the worst president ever. There is no president worse than Mnangagwa. In this region, every president knows this. That Mnangagwa is the worst president. Why do you want to go for a third term? Because you built one bridge. One Trababalas bridge. Then you say, I want to be president for life because I built a bridge. How come our country is one bridge after 46 years of independence? Do you young guys understand why people like Sarawaka are being killed? This man is evil. How can you kill a young person like this? Very evil person, Mnangagwa. And there is no doubt for me. He must kill everyone. Mnangagwa must kill everyone. Very pathetic president. I'm so disgusted. All right, I think we need to go. And guys, I'll see you. I'll give you more updates. As I said, Mnangageza's body is stuck in South Africa. There's no money to move it. Please help us to move this body to Zimbabwe. Mnangagwa needs to be buried in Zimbabwe. And we are going to be giving you updates also on Sarawaka. The post-mortem was done. There's also Pastor Muda who was killed with Sarawaka. So in the car, he was accompanying Sarawaka and was killed at the same time. I would like to thank all of you for watching, and do not accept this thing that Mnangagwa is doing. It is a shame what Mnangagwa is doing. Thank you very much, and a good day.